Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome inside the athletic fields here at Milford High School, as Milford TV is happy to bring you coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics presented by the Rail Trail Flatbread Company. Rail Trail Flatbread Company, a casual American dining experience specializing in an all-scratch-made kitchen featuring wood-fired flatbreads. An inviting atmosphere for the whole family to enjoy. We bring you this coverage live from our Rentschler Biopharma broadcast booth. Rentschler Biopharma is a global contract development and manufacturing organization specializing in biopharmaceuticals and advanced therapies. Rentschler Biopharma, reliability you can trust. We are so happy to be back with you, back outside and ready to get started with this 2025 spring sports season. And we get things started here today with coverage of the Varsity girls lacrosse team in their 2025 season debut, taking on a tough rival from the Kelly Rex division in the King Philip Warriors. KP has one game under their belt so far on the season. That was a victory. And so Milford with a big test here on their home field to get this new season started. And with that, action is underway. Cool conditions here at the turf field as we get settled here today. Temperatures struggling to get into the mid-40s as action gets underway here at the Milford Athletic Facilities. Meanwhile, KP with a good opportunity right out of the gates, but a nice save made. And still on the attack here is King Philip. Had an excellent season last year, made it to the round of 16 in the MIAA playoff tournament, finished second in the Kelly Rex division standings, and return a lot of their talent from last season. Both of these rosters pretty similar to last year. Just a handful of departures from graduation last year, as meanwhile KP able to get that one past the keeper and in for their first goal of this game. And that looked to be Mackenzie McDavid, who was the leading scorer for the Warriors last season. So she picks up an early score here with still 11 minutes and 11 seconds to go here in the first quarter. It was a tough loss for the Milford JV squad against their KP counterparts in a game that just wrapped up only about 20 minutes ago. It's fluctuated from year to year when we've seen the varsity play first or the JV play first, but it seems like for the bulk of this season we will see the JV squad take the field here prior to the start of varsity action. So some later start times on tap for our lacrosse coverage throughout the season. We'll have plenty of opportunities to catch this girls team as well as the boys lacrosse team. And we'll also be following along with boys volleyball, baseball, and softball as well throughout this spring season. Milford with control behind the KP goal. On the stick right now of Milford's leading scorer from a season ago, TJ Downing, fresh off of a fantastic season with the girls basketball team. Loses control here as she was streaking in towards the net. KP able to gather in. And taken away by Ashley Whitbread, a junior for the Warriors. Ball loose on the turf just outside the center logo, but picked right back up with speed for McDavid. Already with a goal under her belt this afternoon, as this one will go out of play. Still 9:52 on the first quarter clock. Again, cool, crisp conditions for this one here today. Also, cloud cover has continued to filter in as the afternoon has gone on. There was some nice bright sunshine for a lot of the JV game, but that has now been obstructed by this overcast. As always, weather is a dicey situation in the early going of the spring season. Restart coming up here for Milford. Trying to even the score here in the early going. This one dropped in. That's a score. That is Maya Santos answering back for Milford, so they'll tie the score here with 9:02 on the clock. scoreboard updated as well as we get ourselves back into form here with our spring coverage. Tied up one apiece. Kaylee Turtelot in the center circle for the Scarlet Hawks. KP with a winning bid and wasting absolutely no time. And some King Philip fans in attendance letting out a cheer after that score, and that was McDavid once again showing off her scoring prowess. She's already grabbed a couple here with still plenty of time to go in this first quarter. So a tied score for all of 12 seconds. KP jumps back ahead now by a score of 2-1. KP scored 12 goals in their season opening win. A 12-6 final score. And they're coming in rapid fire succession now. Already now a 3-0 score. We saw the JV squad as well score in bunches. This KP girls lacrosse program has been very good over the last several seasons, with a lot of upperclassmen on the roster this year. High expectations. I believe that was Sierra King with the goal there for KP. The goal at the 8:37 mark to make it now a 3-0 score. So Milford trying to hang tough defensively. Right now it's Claudia Salitro with possession around behind her own goal, trying to find a little bit of space up the middle and trying to get a pass away, but that was knocked away by Aaron Steck for KP, who then goes down on the back end of the play, drawing a whistle. KP will keep control, so Milford could not break it out. And now this pass floated back to McDavid and now around to the near sideline. Good passing here for the Warriors, and now the quick turnaround and fire. And already now a hat trick. No, that ball staying out of the net. Milford able to make the stop. That was McDavid making a bid for her third goal here of the quarter. Instead now it's TJ Downing up the field with speed, and again getting into the crease but losing control of the ball. That's the second time that we've seen that as Downing's tried to make a move on net. Milford trying to maintain possession. Ball picked up once again by Downing. This time she's able to feed that pass into Turtelot right on the doorstep, trying to send that one home. The stop made. Now a bouncing shot in off the stick of Maya Santos, and nothing doing there for Milford. Good work by the KP goalkeeper. Allie Cleesby, the junior, in net for King Philip. Evelina DiGilinardo, the junior, in net for Milford. And now contact initiated by Turtelot. So that was Josie, I beg your pardon, that was Sammy Cloutier trying to make a move in on net for the Warriors. So she will have the ball up top on the restart as we dip under 5.5 minutes to play in the first quarter. This one comes in low, bounces past the stick of DiGianardo, and it's good for the score. So Sammy Cloutier with 5:26. Now a 3-goal lead for King Philip. Turtle out again on the face-off for Milford, but it's another win for King Philip, who has been very efficient so far. And again, in transition, it is McDavid who does more damage. King Philip getting into their offense and just so quick in towards net. Milford could not get their defense organized, and so goal number 4 of the quarter for Mackenzie McDavid. And again, 12 seconds between strikes for the Warriors. And it's again right back to McDavid. This time forced around behind the net. Milford defense needing to make some adjustments. This time a softer shot that's handled by DiGianardo, and a good pass up ahead to TJ Downing. Getting trailed from behind now. Free up onto the attacking side, and this time Downing able to get a shot away, but right into the stick of Cleesby, who makes the clean save. It's King Philip now in transition, taking the shot, but a whistle just before that shot was released. We start here for KP, already leading 5-1. Keeping the pressure on. This time, DiGianardo able to make the stop, but from behind the net, the feed up front, and KP continuing to keep the pressure on. DiGianardo able to make the initial stop. Rose Campbell able to collect her own rebound. Ended up sending a pass back around front to Riley Waldner, who was able to score. So an exchange of goals in the early minutes, but King Philip continuing to gain more and more separation, and so this game starting to take on a similar feel to what we saw when these two teams played in Milford last season. It was a game that we covered for you live here on Milford TV, and it ended up being a 20-goal onslaught for the King Philip Warriors. It's a 20-3 final score. It's been some lopsided margins between these two programs over the last several seasons. Milford able to gain possession back on their attacking side. Chloe Pierce, she loses control just to the far side of the net, and Cleesby able to clean it up. And KP on the move now up the near sideline. Looping pass. Broken up, and Milford able to pick it up. It's Pierce. Sends it along the far side towards Maddie Hamilton. KP able to win possession right back, and Milford whistled for the contact. 3 minutes and 10 seconds right now on this first quarter game clock. This is the first of 2 live sporting events on our Milford TV platforms this week. We will be live again tomorrow with coverage of the boys volleyball team. As the Warriors again extend the lead. Sammy Cloutier with her second goal of this first quarter. Ups it to a 7-1 lead now. KP having a ton of success in the face-off circle in this quarter. This time losing control. Milford able to gain possession, but can they advance? In all kinds of trouble there was Yaz Martinez, one of the captains on this 2025 squad. King Philip looking efficient, looking supremely confident in just their second game of the season. About to dip under 2 minutes to play in the quarter. It's time to pass out of the reach of Mackenzie McDavid, but KP able to gather back in on the stick of Emily Heslin. Back to Cloutier, and then around to the far side. Warriors trying to spread out this Milford defense that has had to do a lot of work and has not had a lot of success containing the KP offense so far. Ticking down to the final minute of this first quarter. David again around towards the far side. She'll get it back. Rifles the pass onto the stick of Cloutier. And KP will go around behind the Milford goal with 45 seconds left in the quarter. And now in towards net, and Milford again is whistled for contact. Again, they go down low and able to get that bounce past DiGianardo. That time it was number 18, Faith Garvey. So an 8-1 score. Certainly not an easy opponent for Milford to face right out of the chute on the season, especially when KP's had a chance to get their legs under them with a regular season game, this being Milford's season debut. shot cast aside by the stick of DiGianardo right as time expires here in the first quarter. So a rough start for Milford. They fall behind early here, 8-1. We'll take a quick timeout here on the broadcast, and we'll be back with second quarter action momentarily here as we bring you all of this action live from our Rentschler Biopharma broadcast booth. And of course, coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics here on Milford TV is presented by the Rail Trail Flatbread Company. Welcome back inside our Rentschler Biopharma broadcast booth as we begin the second quarter here on the Milford turf. Varsity girls lacrosse action, Milford hosting King Philip. And the Scarlet Hawks athletics coverage presented by the Rail Trail Flatbread Company. Milford TV Executive Director Tim Coates, so happy to be with you on the call. This is our first spring sports coverage of the season. We were hoping to maybe get out to Fino Field on Monday to bring you coverage of the baseball team taking on North Attleboro, but the conditions a little bit too waterlogged at the field and a little too unsettled overall weather-wise for us to be able to bring our gear out to the baseball field. But we'll get some varsity baseball action in for you as the season goes along. Baseball team did win that game on Monday, 1-0, so pitcher's duel as it turned out, with Milford picking up the victory. Restart here for Milford as we settle into the second quarter action. Milford needing some offense, down 8-1. And Kaylee Turtelot sends that shot in from long range, could not get it past the KP keeper, and now a pass overcooked out towards midfield. Milford's able to gather it in right at the far sideline. And so trying to go back on the attack. And Arujo carrying across the middle. Looping a pass back to Turtelot. Team's flipping sides as we change from the first to the second quarter. We'll get that updated for you on our scoreboard as well. Second quarter, a little under 10 minutes to go. Milford with one of their longer possessions on their attacking side of the field, hoping to turn it into a score. Turtelot taking her time, surveying her options, and eventually dishes around behind the net to Captain Alexa Landry. Now it's Maya Santos picking up some speed around up top. And now a low pass that's held onto by Landry. Now TJ Downing gets into the action as we approach 9 minutes to play in the half. Defense with good discipline here for the Warriors, forcing Milford again to send a pass back around even with the net. Now Caitlin Landry, she can't find an avenue in towards the net, so back to Alexa. And Alexa gets chased out, forced around behind the net. That looks to be Mackenzie McDavid showing prowess on the defensive side of the field, as she has also been the leading offensive force for KP. Two players getting tangled up, McDavid and Alexa Landry. Now things get restarted, another whistle. Now set to continue. Alexa trying to work off of a screen set by Maya Santos, but defense stays in tight. Landry winds around, gives it up back to TJ Downing. Extended offensive possession as Downing now tries to change positions, tries a little reverse shot with her back to the net, and that bounces wide, but a creative effort there by TJ. Downing will get the ball back on her stick here. About 3 minutes of time here in the offensive zone, but KP has not allowed Milford a single good look on net. Now here's Alexa. Could not get past her defender yet again and has to back out. Now Josie Stoney, a freshman, playing in her first game of her young varsity career. Around behind the net, Santos again trying to break up some of the traffic on defense as the ball comes loose behind the net, and Santos ends up scooping it up. Downing now from the far side. Spins around, and two defenders quickly collapse in. Now the pass into Arujo. She'll get a shot away, and the save is made by Allie Cleesby. So Milford finally gets a shot on net. Cleesby with the sure-handed stick save, and now here comes KP with speed across the middle. Over 3 minutes of offensive zone time there for Milford, and unfortunately nothing to show for it. Just great patience by this King Philip defense. Held their ground. KP right now playing with Mackenzie McDavid on the sideline. McDavid led this KP offense last year with 63 goals scored, as well as 15 assists. TJ Downing, the leading scorer for Milford last season with 47 goals and 21 assists. KP now around behind the net with less than 5 minutes to go in the first half. Milford able to break things up in front of their own goal, and now a clean pass ahead to Anna Arujo, but stick check from behind knocks that ball loose, and King Philip back ahead. And this one in the back of the net for our first goal here in the second quarter. So that was number 11 for King Philip, Emily Heslin. So just the first goal scored here in the second quarter. But it ups the King Philip lead now to 9-1. Now this ball loose behind the KP net will go out of play. KP streaking in towards the net, and it's Heslin again, back-to-back scores. Less than a minute in between. And so goal number 10 for the Warriors. And a number of players now having multi-goal games. The Warriors almost matching their scoring total for their first game on the season before we even reach halftime. They just need 2 more goals to do that. We have a little over 3 minutes to play. This time Milford able to win the face-off. Tight, ball comes loose, both sides fighting for it, and it's picked up by Cleesby. She has been very good, hasn't faced a ton of challenges in this first half, but has looked up to the task each time so far. As Milford is able to intercept that pass over the middle, now dumping it forward towards TJ Downing. She's able to scoop it, but now gets closed in by a couple of defenders along the far sideline. Has to come around back towards the middle, still struggling to advance. Lets that ball free, and it's picked up by Josie Stoney, but looks like action will continue. Landry carrying it all the way around behind the net, and then eventually sends it back to Downing, and then around all the way to Turtelot on the far side. And the shot and the score. Looked to be Kaylee Turtelot, who was able to get her first of the season with 90 seconds to play in the first half. From long range. So Milford had not scored since the 9:02 mark in the first quarter. Turtelot able to get one in here late in quarter 2. Now a 10-2 score as KP wins the ensuing face-off. Ball loose out in front. Both teams still fighting for it. Picked up eventually by the Warriors. Just 51 seconds to go in this first half. And a quick catch and shoot, and it's the hat trick for Heslin, all here in the second quarter. She has scored all of the KP goals. Scoring at the 4:10 mark, the 3:19 mark, and here with just 41 seconds to go to extend the King Philip lead to 11-2. ball ricochets, picked up by Sierra King. Still about 30 seconds left here as the ball ends up on the stick of Avelina DiGianardo. She'll send it out for Caitlin Landry. Milford looking for one last scoring opportunity here. 20 seconds left. Caitlin to Alexa Landry. And now a pass looking for Yaz Martinez, but off the mark, and KP will be content to run out the final seconds of this first half. So we will head into halftime with the score King Philip 11 and Milford 2. Another impressive first half performance for KP. And so we'll see if there's anything that Milford can do to make adjustments at halftime. 5 minutes on the halftime clock, so if you're joining us on our live coverage, just hang tight for the next few minutes and we'll be back with second half action. Again, 11-2, KP on top of Milford. In this coverage, we bring you live from our Rentschler Biopharma broadcast booth. And once again, our presenting sponsor for Scarlet Hawks Athletics here on Milford TV is the Rail Trail Flatbread Company. Welcome back in, everybody, to the Milford Turf as we begin second half coverage. Milford taking on the King Philip Warriors. Just getting settled in for our first spring sports action of the season. Again, kicking off back-to-back days of sports coverage. We'll be with you tomorrow as well. Indoors tomorrow in the gym for boys volleyball action as the boys host North Quincy. And what will be a very different looking boys volleyball roster compared to what we saw at the end of last season. A lot of players leaving for graduation after last season, so we'll see what the new look boys volleyball team has in store for this season. We'll share some more of our schedule details with you as the second half goes on. Again, 11-2. If you're just joining us, KP building up a big lead, scoring 8 of those goals in the first quarter. And we had a quiet stretch through a lot of the second period, but eventually KP going back to work, getting 3 goals, all from their senior Emily Heslin in the late stages of that second quarter. DiGianardo looking to start a breakout here for Milford. Once again, the Scarlet Hawks trying to attack from right to left across your screens as we enter into this third quarter action. Sky's getting darker. I imagine we'll see the lights on here at the turf field shortly as we approach 6 o'clock in the evening. Ball briefly on the stick of Sammy Cloutier, who also has multiple goals in this game. Hat tricks for Mackenzie McDavid and Emily Heslin on the KP side. McDavid was on the bench for most, if not all, of that second quarter. She's back out there now for the third, has the ball on her stick as Martinez tries to keep pace defensively. And now it's Heslin up top with possession. And around to Cloutier. And a loose ball picked up again by DiGianardo. And just barely getting that pass safely onto the stick of Lexi Antonio. Both of these programs with new head coaches for this season. It is Matt Custodio, the head coach of the King Philip Warriors, taking over a program that's been on a good run. He looks to build on that this season with a veteran roster. We really appreciate Coach Custodio sharing some information and the varsity roster with us prior to this game here today. And for Milford, it is Danielle Deldato taking over as head coach of this program. She was the varsity assistant last season, takes over for Coach Casey Young, who is at the facility here today, but with a couple of new additions in tow, giving birth to twins just a couple of months ago, and so we certainly congratulate Coach Casey. That very exciting news has the kids here taking in this girls lacrosse action today. And this KP with speed up the near sideline. Martinez a step behind. Able to close in, trying to knock that ball free. And now it's Hesselin. Back around to the far side. TJ Downing, good defensive position, forcing the ball back up top. And now Josie Stoney holding her ground. Josie Stoney, the lone freshman to make this varsity roster. A lot of juniors and seniors on the Milford varsity roster this season. Off the restart, and a stick save is made by DJ Leonardo. Weaves this pass out, trying to hit Maya Santos, but it's stolen away by Faith Garvey. She was able to place her stick perfectly right in front of Santos to make the steal. Now this ball is loose, and DJ Leonardo has it. She'll go the short route this time, as this pass is picked up by Grace Beagle. Beagle swarmed defensively, tries to push this ball along for Alexa Landry, but it is picked up instead by Ashley Whitbread for KP. Sends a pass over the middle, and line drive shot, and a score for Riley Waldner. So with about 5:40 to go, Waldner gets the first score for KP here in the second half, establishes a 10-goal lead for the Warriors. Bench trying to still stay engaged for Milford. Not easy on a day like this that continues to get colder, as what little bit of sunshine was coming through starts to fade off in the distance. Temperature probably barely holding around 40 degrees down at field level, and that feels a whole lot colder when you're staring up at a 10-goal deficit. Technically 44 degrees with the setting sun off in the distance. This ball loose around behind the Milford net, calmly picked up again by the Warriors. The ball ends up out of play. Milford now with some room back up onto their attacking side. Carrying it all the way in for the shot was Anna Arujo, but another save is made by Allie Cleesby. And now again, Milford able to come away, trying to push that ball forward. It's Claudia Salitro, but KP wins it back. About to tick under 3 minutes to play. Running clock right now with the 10-goal lead for the Warriors. Ball out of play. KP trying to find it as it was right down at the base of the nets. Still Warriors possession here with the 10-goal lead. And now a lofted pass up over the goal, and DJ Leonardo able to get low, able to make the stop. Milford comes away with possession. A little spin move around the far sideline. This is a program here in Milford that is now just 2 years removed from having the most successful season in program history, a season that saw 11 regular season wins and a playoff berth. Had an outstanding group of talent all around the field, leading to that 11-win season. A lot of that generation of girls lacrosse players has now moved on to graduation, and so Milford looking for new faces to step up. Season ago, Milford had a much tougher go, just 6 wins overall on the season, 6-12. They finished in 5th place in the Kelly Rec standings. They only won 1 game against their Hockomock League opponents. They went 1-10 in their league schedule, and so trying to improve on that this season for sure. Will not happen today, barring a major comeback as McDavid goes back to work here with less than a minute to go. So by my count, that is goal number 4 for Mackenzie McDavid. So the clock continues to run. We'll get one last face-off here in the 3rd quarter. KP winning the face-off, still trying to chase one more score here before time expires in the quarter. They get it, courtesy of Sierra King. So with about a second to go, King able to put one more shot in for the Warriors to make it a 14-2 score. So a very similar style game unfolding here to what we saw on our coverage a season ago. We'll see what Milford can do in the 4th quarter. That will come your way in just a moment. Hang tight here on the coverage as we bring it to you live from our Rentschler Biopharma broadcast booth. And of course, coverage of Scarlet Hawks Athletics is proudly presented by the Rail Trail Flatbread Company. With a state-of-the-art facility and a commitment to excellence, Rentschler Biopharma is poised to tackle the most complex challenges in biopharmaceutical development and manufacturing. Rentschler Biopharma, proud sponsor of our broadcast booth. We also want to acknowledge Unibank, sponsor of Scarlet Hawks Athletics as well. Unibank, big bank know-how, community bank attitude. Check them out in their Milford location on 91 Prospect Street, right inside the Shaw's Plaza. We take you back inside the Milford turf as we begin 4th quarter action. Coverage of Scarlet Hawks Athletics is presented by the Rail Trail Flatbread Company. Tim Coed here with you on the call. Patrick Garapi manning the cameras up on top of the press box in these chilly early spring conditions. And it's been a tough one for the girls here tonight. A 14-2 lead for the King Philip Warriors. And again, we'll perhaps try to share with you some of our broadcast schedule moving forward here as we really dig into the spring sports season. We can tell you, at least for this girls lacrosse team, they'll be doing a lot of work on the road after this game wraps up today. As this ball takes a hard bounce away from the Milford goal, they will be on the road for their next 3 consecutive games. On April 7th, they will travel to Franklin. On April 10th, Foxborough. And then April 11th, they will be at Bellingham. Their next home game will not be until April 14th when they return home to take on the Sharon Eagles. And then they'll have 3 more road games after that. So only playing a total of 3 home games in the entire month of April. Have a better home stretch when the calendar flips to May. As KP carries around behind the Milford net. 10 minutes remain in this 4th quarter. It's been heavy overcast skies ever since this game got underway. You can see the flags at each corner, especially over on the left end, really swirling around. So a breeze making things feel all the more chilly down there for these varsity players. Caitlin Landry picking up the loose ball as, again, Milford looks to attack from left to right here in the 4th quarter. Landry trying to pick up that pass across the middle, but could not secure it on her stick, and it ends up with Cleesby. So it's a nice long accurate pass over the middle, finding number 18 Faith Garvey. Tries a one-hop pass at the near post, and that one deflects wide. KP from around behind the Milford net again, up top for King. Again, KP with some of their impact players on the sideline with this game pretty well in hand at this point. A little over 8 minutes to play as Santos dishes a pass back to Caitlin Landry. And Alexa takes it up at the top. Turtelot trying to be patient. Now brings it inside, sends a low bouncing pass that's able to get past Allie Cleesby for the score. So there's the first goal of the second half for the Scarlet Hawks. It's the second goal of the game for Kaylee Turtelot. So a 14-3 score now for the Hawks. And so again, while we have a little bit of a pause in the action, let's share with you now some of our schedule information. So getting kicked off today with girls lacrosse action. We'll have our boys volleyball game for you tomorrow against North Quincy. Expected to get started around 5:45 tomorrow evening. And then next week, we'll get our first look at the boys lacrosse team, as they'll be home on April 7th taking on Franklin, and then weather permitting, hoping to get our first softball action of the season in on Wednesday of next week as the softball team hosts the Attleboro Bombardiers, and then we'll round out next week with another edition of boys volleyball, as we'll see for the first time, I believe, the Attleboro boys volleyball program. A new boys volleyball program from another Hockomock League team. And then we'll get our first baseball coverage a little bit later on this month as well. So you can find all of that schedule information on our website, on our social media platforms, and of course all of this is subject to change, as it always is with the unpredictable spring weather. So we'll certainly keep you updated should we have to change any of our schedule plans due to Mother Nature, but hoping to bring you as much coverage as possible throughout the next couple of months. Looking for some exciting spring coverage to bring you across our Milford TV platforms. Less than 5.5 minutes to go in this one. Milford grabbing a fourth quarter goal, still trailing this one by 11. KP now around behind DiGianardo and net. And a nice move in towards the goal, but that shot deflected wide to the near side. Drifts out of play. Been a decent amount of KP fans in the stands that made their way out here to Milford for this one, and they have enjoyed what they've seen. A lot of the bench getting into this game in the late stages for Coach Custodio's team. Tip under 4 minutes to play now as KP leaves the ball behind. Turtelot pounces. Clean pass finds Alexa Landry. Ball left on the ground, and ultimately KP able to pick it back up. Taking a shot on DiGianardo, but she's able to make the stop, and now sends a longer pass up to Landry, who now feeds TJ Downing. Clear path over the middle. Accelerates past one defender and now holds up. Ball briefly drops from Downing's stick. She's able to pick it back up. One from Maya Santos and two from Kaylee Turtelot. That has been the offensive day for Milford. Santos with the ball on her stick right now. Santos taking her time back to Alexa. Just 2.5 minutes remaining now. Landry trying to get something started. Now Downing calling for the ball. She receives the pass. A little bit of a bobble. Now trying to jam it in. And around behind the net. Downing still fighting, but KP able to come away, and now we get a whistle. Possession staying with Milford. Santos trying to force her way inside. Ball knocked out, and Turtelot is able to pick it up with now less than 90 seconds. Turtelot had Arujo trying to crash the net from behind, but the ball loose and too much contact as Milford tried to salvage the possession. So KP will have it with now just 60 seconds left to go. See if King Philip tries to tack one on here late. Right now the ball loose. Milford trying to secure it. It's Martinez trying to start something. Not a lot of time left. Now the ball loose again. KP has it back. Down to the final 15 seconds as the Warriors will tack one more score on here in the final seconds. And just 5 seconds left on this running clock. I'm not sure we will even get another face-off. And so that will do it. And so a tough one for Milford here out of the gates, as they will fall to the King Philip Warriors by a final score of 15-3. So Milford with a loss in their season debut. They will fall to 0-1 on the season. King Philip with 2 good wins in their first 2 games of the season, so starting out undefeated at 2-0. As we mentioned, this girls lacrosse team will be on the road for their next 3 games. They won't be back here in Milford until the middle of the month, but our next coverage here on Milford TV once again comes your way tomorrow evening from the Milford Gym, as we will have our first boys volleyball coverage for you, as the boys volleyball team hosts North Quincy. That game expected to get underway around 5:45, and you can catch that coverage across all of our Milford TV platforms, including streaming on our YouTube channel. So we hope you'll check out that coverage tomorrow night, but that's going to wrap things up tonight. A big thank you to Patrick Garapi helping out on camera, and I am Tim Coet, coming to you live once again from our Rentschler Biopharma broadcast booth. That final score, one final time, 15-3. KP defeats Milford. This has been a presentation of Scarlet Hawks Athletics here on Milford TV, presented by the Rail Trail Flatbread Company. So long, everybody.